بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد طه الأمين. Let's make our intentions for the sake of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. You also intend for the sake of Allah that you're being patient for the sake of Allah. If it's warm, if you're feeling a little agitated, you're feeling a little irritated, then if you're patient for the sake of Allah, then you can expect reward on the Day of Judgment. So today we're going to start off by mentioning actually the short biography of Prophet Yūsha alayhi salam. Likewise, we'll go through the biography of Prophet Ilyaas alayhi salam today, and they're very, very brief. So Prophet Yūsha alayhi salam, we've actually already mentioned, he was the youngster that was with Prophet Musa alayhi salam and Prophet Al-Khadir. So in that story, he was that youngster that accompanied Musa alayhi salam, and then he was told to go back to Bani Israel, and Prophet Musa alayhi salam continued with Prophet Al-Khadir alayhi salam. Yūsha is known, the anglicized form of his name is Joshua. So Yūsha, the anglicized form of his name is Joshua. After Prophet Musa alayhi salam died, Yūsha, the son of Nun, so he's attributed to Nun, the son of Nun, he was given prophethood. And it is mentioned that he was from the lineage of Prophet Yūsuf alayhi salam. And we already said that he accompanied Musa alayhi salam, he would serve him. So he was raised in one sense by Prophet Musa alayhi salam. Prophet Musa alayhi salam had asked Yūsha to go ahead to fight the unjust blasphemers. And so Yūsha alayhi salam went to Jericho, to Ariha, where Musa alayhi salam is now said to be buried. And he fought the unjust people there. Those tyrants were from the children of Sam, but they were not Arabs. So Sam, the son of Nuh alayhi salam, he had three sons that lived on, Sam, Ham and Yafith. Sam, we said, or his name is pronounced Shem in his time. So those that came from Sam, they are considered to be Semites. So they are Semitic. So the Arabs are Semites. And they are not the only Semites though. Some scholars, some historians said that even people who are from Al-Hind, the greater India, even they are Semitic, even they are Semites, meaning they are from Sam, the son of Nuh. But this is a weak saying. So just to let you know that not everybody who is attributed to Sam is an Arab. So those people that Yūsha bin Nun alayhi salam fought, they were from the lineage of Sam, the son of Nuh, but they were not considered Arabs. Yūsha alayhi salam, he killed some of them, but some of them remained. And it was close to the time for the sun to set. And Yūsha alayhi salam supplicated to Allah, he made dua that Allah Ta'ala would prevent the sun from setting. His supplication was answered. And the sun did not set until Yūsha alayhi salam killed all of those people. Until he fought them and killed all of them before the sun set, before it got dark. So this dua was answered for Yūsha alayhi salam. And then Yūsha alayhi salam managed Bani Israel after Musa alayhi salam until his own passing, and after the passing of Musa alayhi salam. So he was a prophet and not a messenger. That means that he was a Nabi and he was not a Rasul. a reminder about a Nabi. A Nabi is someone who receives revelation. Anyone who receives al-wahi, revelation, they become a prophet. And they spread the religious law of the Rasul, the messenger, before them. So this messenger might have lived in their time. This messenger might have lived 100 years before that, or 200 years before that. Okay? So Musa alayhi salam and Harun, they were both Rasuls, they were both messengers. Then after them, and they were given the Torah to follow as religious law, then after them there were many prophets, perhaps hundreds of prophets, Nabis, who all followed the laws of the Torah. They all taught the Torah. Yūsha, the son of Nun alayhi salam, he was also one of these prophets who followed the Torah. Then, much later after this, so there were perhaps hundreds, maybe even thousands of prophets that came after the messengers, Musa and Harun alayhim salam, until maybe 2,000 years or 3,000 years later, the next messenger of Allah came, Prophet Jesus, Isa alayhi salam. And a proof of that is that Prophet Jesus alayhi salam, he learned the Torah when he was young. Before receiving revelation, when he was young, when he would go to what the equivalent of the madrasa, okay, he learned the Torah and the rules of the Torah. So then he was granted prophethood, and then he was granted some new laws in the form of al-Injil. He became the next messenger of Allah. So there are more prophets who are not messengers than messengers. The messengers, the Rasuls, if you will, or Ar-Rusul, they are 313 in number. 313. Among them, Prophet Adam alayhi salam, Prophet Sheeth alayhi salam, Prophet Nuh alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam, Prophet Musa, Harun, Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. These are the ones that are very, very well known that they were messengers of Allah because they received new laws, different to the messenger before them. So this is the difference between a prophet and a messenger. You hear the words, don't you? Such and such was a Nabi of Allah. Such and such was a Rasul of Allah. But there is a difference. There is a difference. One way of remembering it is that every one of these people was a prophet. Every one of them had, imagine there was a badge confirming which level a person was. So each one of these people, let's say, had the badge of prophethood, a nubuwah. Every one of them, all approximate 124,000. So they had this badge, if you will, of a nubuwah, prophethood. Some of them had a badge of risala also, which is messengership. So 313 of all of those 124,000 approximately, 313 of them also were messengers. So they were all prophets, and only 313 of them were messengers. The messengers, Rusul, they have a higher status than the non-messengers. Also a benefit to mention here that the prophets are approximately 124,000 men. The highest ranking of them is Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, then Ibrahim, then Musa, then Isa, then Nuh alayhim as-salatu wassalam. Then the prophet that is, let's say, I don't want to say the lowest ranking, but relatively speaking, the prophet who is not the highest ranking, which is Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam, okay, let's say the 124,000th, okay, the one at the end in terms of rank, his rank is thousands of times higher than the next person down. The next person down who is not a prophet. And that person who is the next person down, who is not a prophet, he is the greatest among the awliya, and that is Sayyiduna Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Sayyiduna Abu Bakr, he is higher in rank than all of the other pious non-prophets that ever lived. So Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu is higher in rank than Lady Maryam. Lady Maryam. He's higher in rank than Dhul Qarnayn. Dhul Qarnayn, who trapped Ya'juj and Ma'juj. You think about what a high rank he must have had. Allah Ta'ala made the wind available to him, or he had a large carpet on which a lot of people would travel with him. His army would be carried by the wind to different places. Still, Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu has a higher rank than Dhul Qarnayn. Dhul Qarnayn was mentioned in the Quran. Still, Sayyiduna Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu has a higher rank than him. Luqman, after whom a surah is revealed or named in the Quran, Sayyiduna Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu has a higher rank than him. So the highest ranking wali, not only in this nation but in all nations, in all followers of the prophets, is Sayyiduna Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Then above him is a prophet of Allah. Allah knows best who that is exactly. But that prophet of Allah is thousands and thousands of ranks higher than our master Abu Bakr radiyallahu anhu. Then you imagine Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, whom we were lucky enough to be among his nation, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. So that's just a summary of the hierarchy of the prophets of Allah. Most of the prophets, they were not Arabs. Very few of the prophets were Arabs, which meant what? Most of the prophets didn't speak Arabic. They didn't speak Arabic. They spoke different languages. Musa alayhi salam spoke Hebrew, for example. Likewise, Isa alayhi salam, a dialect of Syriac. And so they spoke different languages. Most of them not speaking the Arabic language, and most of them not being Arabs. Most of them, they came from this central area. So no prophets were people who were born, let's say, in Australia or Indonesia or New Zealand or the two Americas, North and South, Latin America or Canada, the United States. No prophets were sent there. No prophets were sent to England. No prophets were sent to France. No prophets were sent to Germany or Denmark. These areas, there were no prophets in them. The prophets were sent to a central area, Asham, Egypt, Iraq, and these areas. Yes, the prophets, they visited areas that were close, let's say, to India or Greater India or Khurasan. Sulaiman alayhi salam, he used to go to Kabul every single day. Kabul, which is in Afghanistan. So he used to go there every single day. He used to travel in a special way. But this central area, if you will, it was a special area where the prophets were sent. Later on, people spread out. People spread out. And it's not true, of course, what is claimed today, that the origin of a human being is some type of monkey or descendant from a monkey that originated in Africa, and then from there started to live in caves and until he began to speak. And no. So after that beneficial digression, Prophet Yūsha alayhi salam, he taught people the Torah. The grave of Prophet Yūsha alayhi salam is probably located on a small mountain outside of Tripoli in Lebanon. It's a very, very large grave. Very, very large. And our teachers, my teachers, they regularly visit this grave. It is known. This area is known. Some also claim that Prophet Nuh alayhi salam is buried somewhere close to there, but we cannot be sure about that. The mountain is called Mount Turbul in a town called Al-Minya. I visited this area. I visited this grave even. People claim also that Prophet Yūsha alayhi salam is buried in other locations as well. I mean, one of the only graves that we can be sure of that a prophet is buried there is Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Everything else, it's what we speculate, or it's very likely that prophets are buried there. We know, for example, that from the hadiths that the Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam that Musa alayhi salam his grave is next to the red sand dune, and that area is Jericho. So where exactly is he buried? Yes, where they say he's buried today, that's probably correct, but we cannot be 100% certain. But if someone said, do you want to go and visit that grave to seek the blessings that Allah created within it, of course we'd say yes. Of course. Likewise, it's thought very likely that Ibrahim alayhi salam is buried in Al-Khalil, where he's thought to be today, in Hebron in Palestine. Okay, so that is what is going to be mentioned about Prophet Yūsha alayhi salam. Let's talk a little bit about Prophet Ilyaas. Ilyaas alayhi salam, the anglicized form of his name is, what do you think it is? Ilyaas alayhi salam. What do you think they call him in English? Oh. Elijah. Elijah. Ilyaas alayhi salam. Likewise, Prophet Al-Yasa. Al-Yasa is also a prophet of Allah. In English, they say, not sure how to pronounce this, Elisha. Elisha, I'm not sure. Prophet Ilyaas alayhi salam is the son of Yasin. His father's name is Yasin. It is said about him that he was from the children of Harun, the messenger of Allah alayhi salam. Allah sent him as a prophet to Bani Israel. They had many prophets. Remember, Bani Israel, they eventually became non-Muslims and they would slaughter prophets. It's known about them that they would slaughter prophets in the morning, and then, as though it was a normal day, they would go out into the market and sell on their stall, sell vegetables and clothes. They would slaughter prophets. They would decapitate them in the morning, at dawn, and then at midday and so on, they would go about their business. Sometimes perhaps murdering 2 or 3 prophets every single day. It shows you the number of prophets that went to these people. This is after Musa alayhi salam. So he was sent to the children of Israel, Bani Israel, after the death of Hizqeel alayhi salam. Some also said that Hizqeel alayhi salam was also a prophet that was sent to Bani Israel. Also Ash'iya and Armiya, they were considered to be, said to be prophets, and Allah knows best. Hizqeel alayhi salam, just briefly, it said that Allah Ta'ala resurrected, because of Hizqeel alayhi salam, because of his dua, that Allah brought back to life a whole village of 70,000 people that had died, and Allah brought them back to life because of the dua of Prophet Hizqeel alayhi salam. So after the death of Hizqeel alayhi salam, Bani Israel contradicted the Torah. They started to go against it. So Allah Ta'ala granted Ilyaas alayhi salam prophethood. Between the rules of Musa and Isa alayhi salam, like we said, there was no new book of rules. Prophet Dawood alayhi salam, he was a prophet also, between Musa and Isa alayhi salam, and he received a book known as Az-Zabur, but it contained wisdoms, it didn't contain rules per se. It did not contain rules. Okay. Prophet Ilyaas alayhi salam told the people to worship Allah and to obey him. He forbade the worshipping of idols. And it was cited that they were the people, these people that he was sent to, the people of Ba'labak. Ba'labak is in Lebanon. Some of you might have visited there. It's now in ruins. It's like a site where people can go and they can see the huge stones and pillars of the castles and the fortresses. And the city that remained there, huge, absolutely huge. You wonder, how did they move these large stones at that time? This is in Lebanon, Ba'labak. This is the name. So the name Ba'al was the name of an old idol. So I guess they named the city or the town or that area after it. Most of the people rejected Ilyaas alayhi salam, and only a few believed in him. Among his followers was Yūsha. And then after Ilyaas alayhi salam passed away, Yūsha became a prophet of Allah. Yūsha alayhi salam is mentioned in the Quran. He stayed with the people, ordering them to worship Allah Ta'ala and leave blasphemy. And then he also passed away. We're going to stop there as far as the stories of the prophets are concerned, and we're going to continue next week with Prophet Dawood alayhi salam. It gets very, very interesting. There are many interesting stories when it comes to Dawood alayhi salam, because he was a king. He was a king, and likewise his son was a king. But we're going to continue with that, inshaAllah ta'ala, next week. As for now,